Thank you for tuning in to Andronitalks Radio, gathering as one in our sovereign truth from a galactic perspective, exploring our world with new ideas, knowledge, and a promise of a better future. Galactic discussions for galactic-minded people. Andronitalks.
Hello everyone. I just wanted to talk a little bit about what we're doing here. This is a regression that I did with Jenifer, and typically we call it a session with Jenifer. And during the regression, some very unusual things came up. I know that we have been working on trying to help the planet, and also on a personal level, Jenifer's been used in many different programs, which kind of allows us to access and see what was going on, that maybe if we could to try to adjust it so in some ripple effect that will help the planet. So just so you know, this is not just mindless regressions, just not that a regression is ever mindless. I mean, it all has a purpose. On many occasions the primary purpose is to help the individual to figure out what's going on in the background in their subconscious. And as I said, with Jenifer, she seems to have been involved with many programs, and so she's even, you'll see a Cyborg program that she had a problem with. There were also some other programs, Milabs in particular, where she was used as a child. And so, and I know that she was involved with Opus Dei, and many unusual projects came up because of that in the past. And so you see that, you know, the misuse of some of these ancient beings, these titans used by ETs to alter our reality, is something that we cover in the beginning. And then afterwards we get more into a cyborg reality from a corporation that is typically considered good. However, you know, anything can integrate at any time, and so there was, you know, an additional issue that I knew that I had a problem in the background. I never expressed that to Jenifer, but I found it interesting that she discovered it while in the regression. So anyhow, you know, not a lot of name dropping, but there were a few, and I don't know, people are going to be upset or offended. I'd rather just focus on what is actually happening and understand that, you know, what she sees may be the individual that she sees, or it's something that is putting on a facade looking like that individual, so it's not so much focused on that individual that we might have mentioned, but rather, you know, an energy that is choosing to put on that face. I'll put it like that. And the other part is there was a mention a bit about some of the disclosure stuff or Q or whatever, and here again, it's not that we know that people that are awakened and that they're trying to share information. We are not against dispersing information, and but you know, if you know, there were the primary people that were doing some things, and then there were some other people that kind of stepped in. It's more or less those that are infiltrating movements that later result in some discrediting, so or have a different light on the way things are presented. Maybe not the original intention, or maybe it was, I don't know. But that here again is not what we're doing here. We're just trying to free the people, and if a person chooses to not be a part of something, they can choose to separate from it or to stay in it. That's their choice. But anyhow, this is what we did, without any judgment. Maybe sort through it, add your comments, and thank you very much for listening. Have a good day.
See a little girl sitting base of a big tree trunk. She's got a yellow dress on with big white flowers on them.
Who is that little girl? Are you there with her?
Yes.
What do you look like?
They have dark hair with pigtails and a blue dress. I'm a little bit chubby. We have baskets in our hands. She's crying.
Do you know where you're at?
Next to a lake. Looks familiar. I think we're in Austria, or I've seen this lake before. It's a man-made lake. It's not Austria, it's Antarctica.
Antarctica?
We're on the other side of an opening inside a cave, inside of a mountain.
It's like you're going
Base.
inside like Agartha or something?
So I think it's a base.
Can you see the sky or the sun or anything like that? Or are you just underground? There's a tree there.
I can't figure out if it's inside or outside.
Did they simulate what looks like the outside?
There's something in my leg. It's a tracker. I have a tracker behind my right knee. They're keeping track of us. We're inside a simulation. Everything's fake.
Who are you there with?
It's just me.
Who put you there?
I heard Santana. Saint or Santana.
Santana, like the band?
I don't know. Or a saint.
Saint Anna?
Saint Anna.
Or was it someone's name, Santana something? Can you see the person?
I see a priest.
Priest.
But he's got like what those old priests had on, like a cape with a hoodie, but it's brown. He's holding a staff in his hand. He's walking behind us and he's like hurting us, like pushing us forward. We don't want to go. She's very upset. She's frowning, pouting. She has her arms crossed. She doesn't want to walk. She just wants to stand there. Trying to get her to move.
Is she disoriented about why she's there?
And she's mad. There's a like a drain at our feet. It's a metal drain with some really weird blue liquid in it. It's flowing. It's going down into the ground. It's coming from under the lake. But it's a chemical. It smells like chlorine. He's telling us to get into the drain and we don't want to.
Who is?
This priest.
The one they call Santana.
Yeah, he wants us to get into the drain.
Who is he connected to? Is he connected to the Vatican or?
Archibald. Archibald something.
He's connected to Archibald?
Archibald something.
Is his boss also like a Jesuit or?
It's an archbishop. Saying this is our cleansing rite. We have to go down the drain.
Is it like really big, like underground?
Yeah.
Like a tunnel almost?
Yeah, but it's like a drain with like metal like this, and it comes together and there's this blue liquid going down it, and it's like it goes down into the earth like a normal drain from the street, but we can't see what's in there. He wants to put us in there to go in there, and we're just standing there saying no. I see white flowers. This is going to sound strange. He reminds me of the Sith from Star Wars.
Star Wars. How old are the both of you?
Maybe 5 and 6.
Is this connected to Opus Dei?
Yes.
Why did they choose the
Destroyed
two
the
of you for
sacrament.
this?
The sacrament. I know who his boss is. His boss is Harry. It's Prince Harry. Archie's his son.
Oh. So is this them in the future, or is this they've already been father and son before?
Archie's been the father of Harry. Archie calls the shots and Harry follows. But I'm seeing Harry as a young boy, maybe 18, no, earlier, 15. And they made him go down this thing too. It's the sacrament. He keeps on saying you have to do it for the sacrament. He's throwing white daisies into it to show us that it's safe. But we don't want to go. He's trying to show us to go into this thing. He keeps on trying to jump to the other side. Harry's getting really mad.
Why?
Because we won't go into this drain thing.
It's like a sacrifice, you think, of some sort? Or like you give an aspect of yourself in a way?
I think it's a sacrifice. They call it a sacrament, but it's a sacrifice. But I don't know how he knows this. I don't know it. I'm trusting. I want to do it, but she doesn't want to. And she's wearing yellow, and I'm wearing blue, and they're injecting me with something. I don't consent and I don't agree. Get this out of my finger. get it out right now. They're injecting us with stuff to make us sleepy. But they can't make us go in there without us jumping in. We can't go in without, they can't push us in. We have to go in on our own. For some reason it smells like bleach. It's coming from under a lake. Playing music, they're trying to do everything to get us go in there. Harry just offered me a red flower, a marguerite. My right leg is numb from whatever they just injected me with. I'm sitting on the ground because I can't stand anymore. I have 1 foot in the drain. Trying to pull me out. She doesn't want me to go in. She's saying, you can't give them your bloomers. I'm seeing blue and white bloomers. Like, you know, those old kind of pants, underwear.
Mm-hmm.
There's something being injected all over my body that's making me numb. I can't feel my rear end. I can't feel my left hand. They're telling to push me in. And she's saying no. Injecting my back. I'm laying down on the asphalt next to the drain now. It's crying.
You have to go down there.
I don't have a choice. Just push me in.
Does she go in after you?
No. Going down this drain and it's dark, but the water is very blue. It's some kind of chemical, it glows. I'm being bumped around, but I can't feel anything. But I can feel the roughness of the rocks that are bumping into me. Now the water's getting rougher. There's soil that's mixing in with the water. It's falling through. Now the water's getting hot. It's boiling. Soil is receding. I'm fertilizing it. My body's turning into fertilizer. And disintegrating. There's soil everywhere, and it's feeding into something.
Is this like the Soylent grain? That whole thing when they turn people into food products?
Yeah.
Jeez.
There's a giant, it looks like it's something biological. I think it's a bunch of humans. It's going up the side of the mountain, but into a facility.
But you said Harry went down there. How come he didn't? Or did he go down another tube?
I don't know when Harry went down there, but he didn't go down there this time. He was brought to convince me to get in.
They wanted you to be the sacrifice.
I am the sacrifice. I'm part of the soil now.
What is the purpose?
The soil is red.
Who needs the sacrifice?
It's feeding a ship. It's a ship. It's a ship that fuels itself and feeds off of this.
What kind of ship?
It's long. It's like a medium gray. There's opaque colored windows on the side, and it's going up. It's almost covering it, but it's restoring the ship. I think I just heard Rev 1.
The ship comes from Rev 1, and they use human bodies, like carbon-based material, to fuel their ship.
It's restoring it because the ship has been out of commission. They're restoring it to do something, I don't know what. It's hidden in some kind of a forest under a bunch of roots from trees, and so the biological stuff, which is us, which is red because there's blood in it, and red meat is being hidden. It's hidden in plain sight. There's something inside the ship. I'm trying to see what's inside of it. Something biological, but it's brown. It's got veins. It's I don't know what this is. Some kind of an alien form. It's a mass. I don't know what it is.
Can you see the beings that are on the ship that are requiring this?
There's no beings around the ship. It's the ship is doing this.
Why is it that the Opus Dei is connected to this? What are they getting in return?
Brain. They're getting a brain.
What kind of brain?
I'm seeing a brain that's encased. It's a big... It doesn't look like a human brain. It's bigger, but it's got sinew and an encasing on it with all these veins coming out of it. Almost looks like an octopus head. This is a species.
Is it possible it was a very big head, but then it's kind of been like deteriorating?
I think it was dying. I think that's what this stuff is feeding it.
Was it, because I saw a very large head of Prometheus. Was it the head of Prometheus?
It could be.
Can you ask and go deeper on that?
Is this Prometheus? What am I looking at? It's the inside of the ship, and it's alive.
Yeah.
It's biological. It's alive.
But it's large, like a giant's head, right?
It's huge. It's
yes.
Massive.
Like a titan.
I can see all the... It's being rebuilt. I can see like the cartilage behind it, like it's being rebuilt by us, by the humans that are turned into this fertilization or whatever.
Can you see the entities that are behind this rebuild?
All I saw were almond-shaped eyes, dark with some deep blue and gold inside of them. I didn't see the being, but I saw the almond-shaped eyes.
Why was the head deteriorating in the first place? Can you ask?
Why was the head deteriorating? It crashed. It lost its functions. Why did it lose its functions? Because it lost the resources it needed to survive.
Was it time for the being to expire, or was it in the wrong place at the wrong time?
It's in the wrong place at the wrong time. It shouldn't have been here.
But no one attacked him, and he just got
No. It
wasn't in
got
the right
worse.
environment.
Right, and it couldn't sustain itself, but these beings didn't know how to reconstruct it, and the only thing they could find was our makeup is similar to his. We can feed it.
Can we ask why he was in the wrong place at the wrong time? Did someone guide him in the wrong place?
He went into a black hole and he shouldn't have.
Was he curious to do something, or was there a plan?
Something was pulling him in there.
Can you
There were
identify?
steps. There's steps. There's very sharp steps that brought him in. He wanted to see what was in there, but it was a trap. And now I see the opening of a black hole, but it's not a black hole. It's a simulation of a black hole.
It wasn't the Lucido, was it?
I don't know. All I see is the inside of a very large black container. It's dark blue blackish. It's got very sharp edges. It's the inside of something. Like a Venus trap.
What
Getting
race
dizzy.
created that? Where did that come from?
Wait, I'm getting dizzy. It's spinning me.
Okay,
just bring
tell
myself
yourself.
back to my
Tell yourself to just reset.
reset where I am right now. Stop spinning.
Take a breath.
Reset.
Take a breath. It's okay. You're going to step away from it a bit and just observe it.
See the end of something. Like the end of a spaceship or something, and outside I can see stars and a bright red star. Like a nova, a supernova.
Who created
It's
this?
controlling it. Aldebaran.
Aldebaran? But who persuaded him, Prometheus, to go into this construction of Aldebaran?
Mayor?
That mayor,
Again,
like you said earlier.
mayor, yeah,
Mayor?
Alta Mayor,
Maybe that's what it's called. What species is this in?
I heard Asia Minor, but that's on our planet. What species is this? I heard Curacao, Korean, something with a K.
Okay.
Heard Crichton, but I don't think that's it.
Kraton?
I saw Crichton with a Y. Crichton. Christos. What is this K? Crichton, I'm leaving it. Christonian with a K-R-Y, Christonian.
Could it have been Ursa Minor or Canis Minor?
Ursa Minor.
This is where it happened.
Minor, yeah.
A little
Ursa
clear.
Minor. Spinning. There's no way to stop spinning. Spinning out of control.
The Babylonian star catalog Ursa Minor was known as the Wagon of Heaven, also associated with the goddess Damkina, and listed in the Milabs catalog, compiled around 1000 BC, among the stars of Enlil, that is the northern sky. They measured the stars of the wagon by which the Phoenicians sail. So he was in a place that was supposed to be called the Wagon of Heaven. How did this happen? There's something else must have changed. It was probably a place he usually went to.
The colors changed. The colors were yellow before, but now they're red. Something happened with the makeup of the gaseous chemicals around the nova, and it shifted the polarity. And instead of being able to just to go and navigate it the way he was used to, it got pulled in, and it's spinning out of control. And they grabbed him. And now the head is the only thing that remains, but the body is somewhere too. And they're using the brain of the head. The head is severed and it's being used. I don't know what I'm touching.
Don't touch anything. We're going to ask to reset everything and pull you and everyone else out of there that doesn't belong there. Restore all the souls that were used for this. Cut everyone off from Opus Dei and bring Prometheus back to his proper place and time without him being tampered with. And that his head is restored back to the body and returned back to the location where he was trying to go, and we're going to remove whatever distortion had happened in Ursa Minor. We're going to reset that right now. It just turned into a bridge.
The rainbows.
There we go.
Rainbow around it now.
All right.
Just got chills. It just got redone.
Yeah, and he stepped through the bridge.
My whole body is shaking.
Your energy's coming back to you?
Yeah.
Do you see you and now?
Something is in my hand. It's a ball with spikes on it. It's like a time bomb. It's got razor blades around it. I don't think I should have this. I don't want this anymore.
Where did this come from?
I don't know. It was put in my hand.
By who?
I don't know. It was when I started talking about the Vatican.
Let's find out who put that in your hand.
That Archibald guy.
Okay, we're going to turn that bomb into dust right now.
It had like a thing on it too, like it was going to explode.
Mm-hmm. Can we shut down this program and their ability to access and remove the Rev 1 group?
I asked to shut down, delete, and uninstall this program and pull whatever energy was feeding the Rev 1 group. I don't consent and I don't agree to any of my energy being used anywhere. I'm a sovereign being, and I ask for anyone that was caught in this to be freed right now, for humanity to be left alone and not to be used for this. See bubbles coming up from the soil.
Did you see the Rev 1 ship disappear?
Yeah, it went down into the ground, and when it turned into sand.
Good.
There's bubbles coming up from where this fertilizer stuff, I think they're souls. There's a lot of them. A lot of them.
Can she be returned back to where she belongs?
Yeah, she's a grown woman with white gloves on. She's wearing a really, really pretty pale yellow dress. She's married. She was stuck there as a child. She couldn't grow up. Now she's a woman living her life. She married a man named Theodore. They had 3 kids. She's a dog. She's very happy.
Where does she live?
New Jersey. She lives in New Jersey. I think she won some kind of a pageant, a beauty pageant. I see her waving. She's not caught in something else, is she?
I don't know. It doesn't look like it.
Something in my right lung.
Why don't we have it removed?
It's a burr, it's a spiky burr that Archibald put in there. Having it removed.
Can we cut off Archibald from being able to harm anyone ever again?
Has to shut down Archibald. Turned into one of the priests in the Vatican. He put a COVID in my lung.
Oh.
Put a spiked COVID and he put one in my brain. Okay, I'm asking to have these COVID spikes removed from my lung and my brain. They have a lot to do with this virus. And now they just stuck something in my heart chakra. I asked for this to be pulled out. I cannot be harmed, so you may as well stop it right now. Pope, not Pope Francis. Who was the Pope before him? The German one. The one that left. I just saw him get really sick, fall down, and die. He was screaming when I took this stuff out.
Pope John Paul II?
No,
Pope Benedict?
Benedict.
Did he die that way?
He turned into some weird ghoulish thing and fell to the ground. He's not human. He's part reptilian. Some weird reptilian that's brown. With one eye, he just fell to the ground. Just heard Diana. And that blue, that stupid blue again. I asked to see the connection between this Prometheus thing and the Vatican. He's standing in front of me. Why is he standing in front of me?
Ask him.
What are you doing? Screaming at me, saying, "You have no right, get out." But he's little. He's a midget. He's screaming at me, saying, "Get out. You don't belong here. Get out."
Is it someone disguised as him?
I think so. He doesn't look like himself. He's a midget. He's got big eyes. Googly eyes.
Yeah. Reveal who this really is.
It's like Kermit the Frog now. What is this? I just see Kermit the Frog. Why am I watching Kermit the Frog?
I don't know.
Let's look at it's a Pleiadian. Just saw skin come off of it. Kashida skin. What is behind the Vatican? Is the Vatican itself sitting on something biological too?
It's very possible.
Because I see like a membrane. Like a big membrane of some sort. And Pope Francis is sitting, but under his chair there's like veins. And it's pumping into something, but it looks biological.
Is that another head?
Yeah, it looks like a big ass brain.
Whose head is that?
Something with a K. What is this head? I'm going down it. I'm like inside the brain right now.
Oh no, get out of there.
I'm trying to.
Is it Ketriton or Ketron or?
I'm not sure. It's a massive head though, and there's a hole in it that's pulling stuff from the Vatican. I can't move normally. Space has changed around me.
Okay, pull yourself out. You're not supposed to be in there, right?
I'm standing up above it now, but the space around me's changed.
It's like it's some kind of magnetic field or
Yeah.
something odd.
Something's pulling me in like weird directions. What is this? There's something black near me. It's like what's this black thing near me? A really, really bright light just came out of somewhere. Ketriton. I just heard Ketriton. But not Ketriton himself. Something belonging to Ketriton. Something mutated from him. Like a part of his body or something. And it's kept there. And it's being kept alive to be used. It's not
Like
Ketriton
as if they used
itself.
it as an artifact and then using his energy, because they have a lot of artifacts there.
Something that's biological from him, a part of him, something from him.
So they're using Titan energy. That makes sense why they're powerful.
But it's sick. It's not healthy.
How did they get a hold of Titan energy?
From the spaceship.
Spaceship that, what, crashed?
No. A spaceship with a bunch of stuff that I just saw a spaceship with like black market stuff.
Oh, ET trade. It's
Yeah.
something like that. Or is it Travelers?
They have his
Future.
arm. They have Ketriton's arm.
Huh.
And that's where he got the blue. The Pope was wearing a blue ring that belonged to Ketriton with the blue stone. The arm of Ketriton is there, but the arm is not healthy.
Maybe that's why he's so angry.
Isn't it? Didn't Ketron or Ketriton cut off an arm? Didn't they cut something off of each other?
Yeah.
When
But
they got
then it
into
grew
the
back.
fight?
Oh, they found that the part. No, that was
cut
Ketron then.
off.
That was
And
Ketron's arm.
But it was Ketriton that gave it to them.
Oh.
It's under the Vatican.
That's crazy. They grow back there, anything that gets cut off.
Yeah, but it was what was cut off. Kept it. But this is weird. It's like they're feeding it with something. This is strange. There's some kind of a species doing this, but I want to say the Lucido, but I'm not sure. I feel like it's bad Lucido, or controlled Lucido. They're doing these experiments, because I kept on getting little injections. Felt like little people trying to inject me. Oh, I must have been a Lucido. That was that little person that was trying to look like.
Yeah.
Whatever's in my hip, get it out right now. Take this capsule out of the back of my hip. Don't consent to anything being put in my body. Pull it out now. And it's the marble. I'm seeing it's like the marble that's in the Vatican. That's that red marble.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually Titan flesh.
Hmm.
It's stretched skin. There's a fountain. What's with the fountain? There's a Pegasus on the top of the fountain. That's Poseidon. Something green on the ground. There's a virus. The arm caught a virus.
It was probably preserved unnaturally.
No, but it's sick.
But it's coming from immortals. So it wouldn't die off.
What's the name of the... Something in my eyes. The simians.
Hmm.
The simians, the arm, Jessica. And Cyberpunk, the monkey arm.
Oh, okay.
It's connected somehow.
It's connected to this. That's interesting. There's also the mantis arm.
Yeah, it's the green I saw. So there's something on the top of my head and it's messing with my... I don't consent and I don't agree. You need to stop it with my getting dizzy. Pull this out right now. Something green got pulled out of my head. The mantis were trying to do something to my head.
To give you an implant, yeah. So you obey them.
Never.
I'm going to ask that anyone that tries to intrude that they be extracted.
What is the connection between the simian and the Vatican? It's a portal. The Vatican's a portal. Vatican, having a hard time right now.
It's okay. Are you getting close to being finished, you think? Maybe that's what you did, what you need to do.
I don't think I can go any further.
I want you to pull out of that space and we're going to present this whole, I'm going to ask to have the arm removed. Rodan's removing the arm. And there's somebody's face that he's taking out. It just creeped me out.
Heavy and like an ape body.
There's many artifacts there that are dangerous to humanity, and they're taking out some of them. I don't think they can take out all of them until we clear some more.
I don't consent.
Somebody's heart.
Yeah. I sent you a crystal heart today.
Yeah, you did.
Found crystal heart. Made out of, it was crystal.
Maybe it's a Christos heart.
Oh, jeez. Simian, they're trying to turn me into a simian.
Don't consent.
Don't consent, and I don't agree to this. They're like holding me in place. And I have hair all over my body. Don't consent, and I don't agree to this. Enough. Oh, that did it. A little bit of conviction goes a long way.
Ask that the simians are taken to their proper place and time. Maybe they're part of the Rev 1 group.
I ask for the simians to be placed in their proper space and time.
Right now.
Right now, so be it. I'm saying for some reason.
What's he doing?
I don't consent and I don't agree. Whatever was just putting my eyes split out right now. I think he's there to help me for some reason. He's fixing my eyes.
Who put that in your eyes?
Some drops were put into my eyes, I don't know. From behind. Through the optic nerving. Just took it out.
Are you part of a program?
Ow! God, pulling something out of the back of my head. Fuck, this hurts.
Is he a doctor there?
Yes. He's got a lab coat on.
Mm-hmm.
He's pulling out implants.
Can you see what program this is?
It's a simian program. I keep on hearing simian, something with the simians. The
Are they trying to bring...
Cyberpunk again.
Or maybe they're trying to devolve humanity and bring them back into, like, apes? Is that what they're trying to do?
That makes sense since they tried to turn me back into an ape, sure. That's the Project Simba. That's the program. The Simba program, and I just got hit really hard by saying that. Ugh. Unplug, delete, and uninstall the Simba program. Don't consent and I don't agree to it. This monarch. I'm seeing orange. I have to move my legs to make sure I don't turn into this ape.
Can you pull your... Are you...
Just heard Urantia. What is Urantia? Am I connected to Urantia? They're saying yes. Vin Diesel is right in front of me. Van. Why is Vin Diesel in front of me? What the fuck is this?
Break ties with him.
Break all ties, vows, oaths, blood oaths, contracts, agreements, and connections between myself and Vin Diesel, Urantia, Rita, the Symbian Project, whatever, in all time, space, reality, past, present, future, alternate space, in between space, parallels, pocket realities, hidden realities, in all dimensions, quantum fields, and any kind of any context of reality right now. Do not consent. I do not agree with any kind of program, overlay, or agenda between myself and Vin Diesel. Unplug, delete, and uninstall, and so be it.
Where are you now?
I'm trying to gain back access to my body. I feel like I'm a robot now.
Yeah, because he was a cyborg. Did he put you through the cyborg program?
Yes.
When? Give me a date. I feel like there's a date.
I saw it. I saw in the past, though.
Yeah.
I saw something with 76, either 18 or 17.
1876?
Now I just saw 2013.
What program is he with?
He's got a thing on his eye, and it's green. I don't know. He's got a like one of those things I had on my eye.
Mm-hmm.
Got a green lens. What program is you with? Project Armor. Project with a K.
Armor.
Armor. Yeah.
K armor.
Yeah, K Armor. I don't consent and I don't agree with this. I ask that my body be brought back to its proper place and timeline. I don't consent to being turned into a cyborg.
Asked to undo whatever they did to you as a cyborg. Is this where you were Ivan?
Yes.
Yeah.
They put a blue chip in my head. I'm pulling it out. I don't want this in my head. I don't consent and I don't agree with this. I ask to undo everything that was done to me as Ivan. As a cyborg, unplug, delete, and uninstall, and I ask to be put back on my proper space and timeline. Right now, so be it. They frickin' stuck it in the back of my head like with a staple gun. Pieces of crap. It rewired my central nervous system.
Hacks.
Yeah, he's gone. He just walked away.
Who, Vin Diesel?
Yeah, he turned and he walked away. He had a gun built into his arm. His arm was a gun.
Yep.
Project 368. What's Project 368? Or 386? I'm maybe dyslexic on that.
Project 386.
Or 368. Somebody's singing the song Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Polka Dot Bikini.
Who is that?
I think it's
Project 386, number 1, the acquisition and some personal computing history via my Dorkbot mailing list. Project 386, number 3, first signs of life, Justin Miller. I've only got a hint of that I may be able to get this project running in the original incarnation.
what?
Yeah, it's some kind of weird hacker news. And I'll save the page for you.
Something just got pulled off of my back. Like a big cage around the back of my ribs.
Is that from the Cyborg program?
Yeah.
Are you pulled out of there? Is there anyone else that needs to be freed from there?
I don't know, but I just heard the name like that. She's wearing like red armor on. She's got really thick red and gold armor like Iron Man on her body.
Can we have that removed? Pull her out of there. I think she's causing problems and I don't think she wants, knows what she's doing with it.
I'm out of there.
She's out.
She and I are both out.
Anyone else that you recognize?
Needs to be pulled out.
And what does he look like?
Big robot. Big robot body. He has long hair. He has really long hair and a long beard. It doesn't have glasses. He's got eyes that are cyborg eyes. I need to pull him out. Can I pull him out, please? Pulling him out. He's out.
Okay, anyone else? Am I in there at all?
No, but I just saw.
Okay.
It looks human.
Is he more like an android?
No, he's running the program.
He's running the program.
He's playing on a computer.
What is his name there?
Nathan Daniels. He just punched me in the chest. He just fist punched me in the chest.
Doesn't have permission to do that. Where does he come from, or what's his purpose there? What project is he working for?
I don't think he's working on a project. I think he's hacking.
Okay.
He's got a very weird white and blue computer like I've never seen.
Who gave him that?
It's a computer that he sits in and merges with.
Who gave him that?
It's a company. It's a Japanese company that gave it to him.
It's like Arasaka, something like that.
Yeah, but it's part of it's like the Transformers. He sits down and it grabs onto his legs, pulls in, and he almost merges with the computer. But he's hacking into something. It's white and blue.
Is there?
Is the computer.
Can we break the computer or have it removed, turn it into particles?
It's disintegrating into blue dust. He's yelling. Screaming at me and pointing at the thing and saying, "Look at what you did." I don't care who you are.
Whose altar is this that's in him right now?
It's a psyop.
This is the person you called Nathan Daniels.
Uh-huh.
And who does he work for?
CyberLife.
CyberLife. Is he not supposed to be a part of our reality?
What is CyberLife? It's connected to Wood, and it's Q, it's Jacques. Ow, God, let go of my leg. They're doing something to my leg. I don't consent, I don't agree, let go of my leg. Right now, let go. Putting something blue in my leg with a light in it.
Break ties with CyberLife.
Break all ties, vows, oaths, photos, contracts, agreements, and connections between myself and any soul aspect of myself in CyberLife, and Fake Shack, and Wood, and Q, QAnon, and all time space reality.
Nathan Daniels.
And Nathan Daniels, in all time space reality, past, present, and future, alternate space and between space, parallels, pocket realities, hidden realities, in all dimensions, quantum fields, and any and all context of reality right now. I do not consent, I do not agree with any kind of program, overlay, connection between myself and everything I just mentioned. I have to unplug, delete, and uninstall it, and so be it. In gratitude and knowledge, I'm always loved and heard.
Can you ask why is Nathan Daniels competing with me and causing problems for me?
It's an anagram. Nathan Daniels, there's the answers in his name.
Dionysus? I don't know. Why is he interfering with what I'm doing, or creating distractions from what I'm doing, or competing with me?
Something with Satan. Satan.
So he's working for CyberLife, but
you're not supposed to be here.
That's what he just said?
Mm-hmm. He's supposed to be here, you're not supposed to be here.
And he's Satan?
Something with the name Nathan Daniels.
Satan.
It's an acronym, and it's in the letters. You have to play around with it, and you'll find the answer.
Why? We're going to ask the higher source. Why is it that Nathan Daniels, is he on the dark side, and is he here to interfere and distort the work that I'm doing?
Why is Nathan Daniels here? What is he doing, and why is he distorting Jessica's work? Just saw a big blue being with white eyes look straight at me.
Blue
What is
being.
that? Big blue being. It's like a rock colored blue being.
I'm going to ask to have that removed. It's part of a program to obstruct us. Ask to have it removed right now.
I asked to have this blue being removed right now.
Want to
See,
know the truth?
I want to know the truth. There's a parrot, a blue parrot with tinfoil on its hat. What is this? Remove this. I'm not gonna. This is you're playing with me.
Who sent him?
Because it's not your universe. Who
It's
sent
not-
you? Enough of the bullshit.
Yeah, it's not their universe either.
Who's behind Cyberlife? Somebody behind Cyberlife.
Please reveal who that is right now.
Looks like ancient AI, but based in Japanese something.
They
Show me
just
this. You just
set
what?
that in the past. Okay, we're going to shut it down, delete, uninstall that ancient AI right now.
Saying in Japanese. Who is this? Who are you? What are you doing? And give me the answers. Enough of the veils. I want to see behind it. You have to pay the Pied Piper to see behind the veil. I want to do shit.
You do not have permission to do what you're doing. You need to reveal what you're doing right now.
There's a wave of water coming over me.
I'm going to ask to have this entity removed right now. And we need to know the truth.
Seeing rocks on the bottom of an ocean.
We need to see the truth right now. He had hacked into the system and then asserted himself into my field. He didn't belong there. Cyberlife did not create him or bring him in, whatever he is.
He's a demon. I just saw him.
I'd like to ask that this demon be removed from my space, as well as any and all systems, programs, projects, and any other type of entities that have been assisting him in doing what he's doing.
It's crazy. He just sitting with his legs. You know how you sit when you meditate?
Mm-hmm.
He's got bright green pants on. He had his hands like this, and these really long nails came out. His face went crazy. He started sticking his tongue out, like you know what they do in India, that weird stuff they do. Like he started doing that, and he was floating, and he was taking hits at me with his nails.
Huh.
The red and the green, it makes me think of the Arcadians.
That's crazy.
That's what they were trying to do to your head with the cat. You know those red things?
Yeah.
They tried to put one on you to tag you. Tried to tag you, but it wasn't a normal one. I'm seeing it. It's purple. Purple and black.
This was this demon that was trying to do this?
It was in the cat, and it was trying to do it, but it was trying to tag you with like a violet black colored thing on your third eye to stop you from seeing.
This is the minions. They're using Cyberlife to be able to do this to all sorts of people.
Look at that. That's what I just compared to that Despicable Me character, and he has minions. Remember the little yellow people that are minions?
What is the name of this demon that was in?
Kuko. I don't know what I heard Kuko. Kukoo.
Black tourmaline just came out of him. I just saw Charles Lindbergh, and they pulled him out.
Valiant Thor.
Valiant Thor. Yeah, something's
Some-
closing now. It's working. Well, Charlie is like the devil. That was the devil you were looking for. And, there's about 12 other demons there that they're pulling out.
Eugenics. It's linked to Bill Gates somehow.
Oh, so Bill Gates might have been one of those demons that hooked into the system as well. How did they hook into CyberLife?
They didn't. They paid to get in.
Was connected to some billionaire, and then he somehow ended up in,
Seeing Bill Gates.
you're saying Bill Gates?
Saying connected to Bill Gates somehow. Saying that it could be this eugenics shit, the Third Reich thing of purifying humanity, that crap. And I think it might be either that or he's one of them. He's an experiment in eugenics. He came out wrong. That was the base for him to be what he is.
So Bill Gates is the one that sent him to me.
Bill Gates is the one that created him. I'm okay. I feel better. I feel much better now.
Have you pulled yourself completely out of that space?
Yeah, I pulled myself out. That's why I feel better.
And you shut down all the programs or anything from running or being able to access you again?
I just to shut down all the programs that were running, and I don't allow them to have access to me at all ever again.
This is with CyberLife or any other program associated with CyberLife or Bill Gates programs?
Anything having to do with Bill Gates, any kind of psyop, cyborg program, eugenics, any of it. I have to shut down, delete, and uninstall all of it right now. So be it.
And I asked to extract any and all innocent soul aspects from all these projects. And I asked to shut down and remove any entities connected to Bill Gates so he becomes completely powerless. And if I am pulled into any of his programs, I also asked to be freed and set free from it. Something just collapsed. Okay. Also, I'd like to shut down anything related to Bill Gates. I'm going to say it again. Until his energy becomes null and void on our planet, he has overstepped his boundary. I present him before the high courts.
And Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birch, I just saw them.
Yeah, and all of them, Fauci and Birch and Bill Gates and any other accomplices that are trying to act as if they're gods over the universe, or at least the Earth, and I asked to have them all dethroned, that they are no longer any power whatsoever.
Big old ship came out of the desert. Some really old ship came out of the desert. Somewhere in Africa or the Middle East.
And where did it go?
It just left. It took off from the planet. It's hiding under. It was really old, like it was long and really weird, like bulky structure.
I think they were taking off, and they were like setting off a bomb to destroy the Earth. Like, that's it, we're leaving. If we can't have our way to play with humanity. I felt like this is all a game, watching humans panic, be stressed, be locked in. It's their entertainment.
Yeah.
And when we just said that you were going to stop those that are playing the game on humans, they thought they were going to take off and be freed. Alright, so I just saw what happened to them. That's not good. Good for them. That's exactly what they wanted. Annihilation.
They just got annihilated.
Yeah, what they wanted to do to us. They can't talk about what species it was yet, for some reason. Okay.
I went really deep.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, that space I was in, it was like dark bluish black. And at one point it just started spinning. And I was like, whoa, okay. And when you said slow it down, it slowed down. And right then I saw that I was on a ship. It was like the cone, the outside of a ship, or the windows. And then I saw the supernova, or whatever you called it. I don't remember. But the crazy part was when you set it back, the thing lit up and this huge rainbow of colors went around it. And I went, like I could feel a breath. I was like, whoa. It was like everything lit up. Like life came back to it.
Mm.
You have been listening to Andromeda Talks Radio. Join us on YouTube channel Jessica Errol Morocco and visit her website at www.readingsbyariel.com.